Where do you see your leaders coming from, your seniors, Ramos and St. John, those guys?
Yeah, St. John and Ramos and Lofthouse. I know you're going to ask about the duck thing, but guy makes a mistake, he's still a leader.
Luther Open going to be in lieu of Resloffs this year?
A little bit. We'll have some situations in the wrestling room, but it'll be more closed door and not official. There'll be more controlled matchups. We're not just going to have brackets like we've had in the past. Luther will tell us a lot, but as is customary for years and years here, ever since I came here as a student athlete, it's how you perform in competition. The Midlands is going to tell us a lot as well. And even after Luther, when we get into competition, those dual meets, Edinburgh, Iowa State, Iowa City duals even could tell us a little bit. So big competition, and how you evaluate how they perform is the focus, maybe more so than making the team. That's the early theme maybe from my perspective. Not something that we really talk about and drilled home, but it's something that they've heard more or less more than once.
You talk about 125 and Clark Gilman. How do those two stand right now?
They're even, and we like them both, and they're a little bit different in their styles. We knew that when we recruited them, we had 225 pounders, but we also knew we had two of the best kids in the country, and it wasn't an issue, and it's not an issue now. It's good for us. And you know, when the rock and the hard place graduates, then there'll be room for whichever one, you know, is forced to move up or wants to move up. In the rock and the hard place is Tony Ramos.
Did you envision them breaking separately at one point?
Of course, I mean, you don't recruit 225 pounds at the same weight the whole time, but we did envision that the first part of their careers they would be head to head. And Gilman did a great job in the spring and summer, and put himself on that team and went overseas and learned a lot there, and they both made good progress, and they're dead even right now. We'll see how it comes around.
Can you elaborate on the style differences?
Just, I mean, yeah, wide open for Clark, and Gilman's probably a little more controlled. Both have good skills, both are serious about wrestling, both are coachable. Attitudes are the same. They work hard at the sport. They're fun to be around. I'm smiling right now because I think of both of them and some of the personality quirks they have. But you know, on the mat, you're talking about a guy that, you know, one guy does super ducks and from the outside and quick and can scramble, and the other guy likes it underhook and hanging out, not hanging out in a bad way, but hanging out in good solid position and then hitting his holds when they're there.
What about 141? How do you look there?
141 and 149, we got about 8 guys there that I could list. Bing, 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 and you know, you throw Brothus and Kelly and Connor Ryan and Topher Carton and Jeva and Nick Trezino. I don't know if that's 5 or 6 or 7, but there's a lot of names right there of guys that can be in the lineup. We definitely need a boost there. I've spoken at Cedar Rapids and Polk County I clubs, and I'm telling the groups there that it's could and may define our season. And you have to have points there. And we've had some guys that do a good job there, but I'm not sure that we want the type of guy that's just going to show up for dual meets when they feel like it, and then the end of the year, they're going to try to get hot, you know? I think it's about training with a purpose every day, being solid, certainly staying healthy is part of it with Kelly last year. But those things, it doesn't matter if you're healthy or not, because you're really healthy. And you have to be healthy, and you have to be strong. So, you know, giving away weight classes, I don't want to go into that again. That's been the theme for the last 2 years. I don't want to talk about that. It's redundant. Well, make a name for yourself. Don't ask me how to spell the name. Spell the name because you know how the name's spelled, because you've written about him many, many times. That's how I look at it. Become a household name. Josh Jeva. Jeva. Not really.
For the sake of the team, would you ever move Ramos up?
You know, individually maybe. I don't You asked a question, so that's the first time it's popped into my head. We've done it before.
Just because the fact the All-Star meeting, he actually wrestled 41.
Well, he weighed in at 33 though, so, you know, it's one of those things where rules there was silly. There's two different stories there. One is that will you move him up? You know, I don't know. He's a 33 pounder. And, you know, it's something that we've thought about in the off season, and for your team, you know, not anything to do with Tony Ramos and what's best for him, you probably move him up. But I think he's a 33 pounder.
Coach, speaking of health, how is Bobby Telford after?
Telford's good, he's strong, he's bigger, knees fine, and it's, you know, something that you don't want to go through again for him, for his family, for us, and he's looking good.
Tom, we've seen some guys like Ramos and Metcalf just all of a sudden evolve into hitters. How does that happen, and how does that happen with other guys?
Just learning it in the room, and then, you know, you work on the sport every day, and sometimes it takes a while, but when you're wired the way that those guys that you mentioned are wired, they learn to do things, and you see it in the room, and then maybe you don't see it out there as much, and then all of a sudden you start seeing it. And then I think once they start doing it, it's like anything else, once you start doing something, now I can do it, and so they do it more often. And we need that. We need that because that's how Penn State's team, you could define them. I mean, super potential for bonus points and proven it, not even potential. I mean, you look at their two, you know, highlighted guys, you know, Taylor and Ruth. I mean, those guys score a whole nother bracket, each of them, really. They're scoring 8, 10, 12 bonus points in the national tournament. And that's a huge boost. And so we need more people to be on that theme or on that bandwagon. That's a good bandwagon to be on, don't you think? That Ramos started getting last year, and keep it going.
You got 5 guys listed at 285. Does that help push Bobby a little bit?
We have 5 guys listed there. I don't know who listed them there, but I can think of 3. But yeah, we got more depth up there, and I guess I can think a couple more now. But yeah, it's good. It's good for Telford. Good workout partners. We got a new coach in there. Good.
How has that helped him?
He's good. He's a heavyweight. He's a coach, and he's a workout partner all at the same time. So good for us.
You made mention of Midland, so you're going to have a full lineup there and then some guys. Do you know how many slots you have yet?
I'm not sure what they're giving us. I know that I dickered in the past, and I give whatever they said I get. It's a little bit more than maybe what they want to give us, but I'm good friends with Drew Periano, and now Jay Marshall's there. So, you know, we'll probably have, you know, obviously 10-point scores, and then maybe another 5 attached. I'm thinking 15. I think that was the agreement. And then, you know, maybe a couple open guys. Who knows? I mean, that Midlands it seems like it's getting stiffer and stiffer every year.
How's Burak's approach to the season changed after last March?
I would say if you're going to define him, he's picked up where he left off. He was strongest at the end of the year. He seemed to get better every time out for the most part. Made good progress. You would have liked to see him getting that All-American, that high on the stand of the Nationals. He was top 12 or whatever, or one match from places, however you want to say it, one match from All-American, and he did make progress, and we are optimistic that he's on the right path.
Talk about that Penn State duel coming up in December, that process, getting that back on the schedule and having that here in Iowa City.
First of all, our administration, we had to go to them, and then they had to go to other people across the river, and Lisa Bluter was a part in that because she gave up a prime time. And graduation got moved. There's a lot of good things that are going on to get that to happen, and that means that wrestling is important, and it means that it's important for our administration as well, for them to fight and do things that, you know, these battles, and I'm not sure it was a battle, but it's a battle because it's another thing on your plate when the plate's already full. So, you know, great job by Gary Barta and our administration, and, you know, our facilities people, and then the communication across the river. You know, graduation's a big deal. it's a big deal to our program. And so to get that to happen it's a good thing.
It looks like that both Minnesota and Oklahoma State are also coming here as well.
That kind of added to the pizzazz of the schedule, didn't it? You know, you have a good home schedule anyway, and now you got Penn State in addition to that.
Anybody surprised coming out of your two-days, your camps this fall? Stepping up?
I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing. I mean, last year I was pretty optimistic, if I remember, and that was a little bit of departure for me. And I'm not going to give a lot of credit right now. I want to see emergence. I want to see urgency. I want to see fight. I want to see points. I want to see separation and domination and those types of things. And it's not just about putting the singlet on and running out there. It's about putting the singlet on and getting ready, and then running out there and putting points on the board, wrestling the way that gives you the best chance to win, and that is to not just win what you're maybe able to win by, but blowing the doors off. I mean, you guys are the experts in the media. You guys make predictions, and supersede all your expectations. You got a tight matchup at X weight class, and you guys all think it's going to be a toss-up, or you're going to give the nod here, and it's going to be close. Just blow the doors off and just have everybody, when they walk out of here, they're talking about your match.
And you seem like your team will match up with the likes of Penn State, when it comes to the end, and what needs to be done.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's bonus points. It's always bonus points. It's winning tough matchups. It's always winning tough matchups. And being disciplined with weight control, feeling good, those sorts of things. But it always comes down to that. Of course, as coaches, we know that, Ramos is going to see Hulaman. I mean, Hulaman seems to be the guy. We think Rutherford will be in there. We know what their lineup's going to be. Nick Moore is going to have to really be ready to go. But to talk about that now doesn't really mean of course we're aware of the matchups, but it's more getting these guys thinking. When you go out to perform, it's doing the things they talked about, and every day bringing that discipline and lifestyle to the table.
What are your thoughts on the rule changes that got implemented this year?
I like the rule changes. I'm not sure. Did anybody see the All-Star meet? Did anybody watch the All-Star meet on feed? I mean, I don't know if anything changed. I mean, but I like the hands. I like the both legs. I like that the referee's looking for stalemate so long when they're down on the mat, and then they blow it both up after 30, 25, 30, 40 seconds. And so I think you're going to get a quick two, or you're going to call, the defensive guy's going to bounce up quick. So I think it's going to increase action. The hands on the mat thing, I think it's going to, eliminate maybe some ambiguity with the officials. Was it past reaction time or not? Hey, it's clear cut. Hands touches too. Well, was he behind the elbow though? Was he behind the arm enough? I don't know. But I like that anytime there's more scoring. I don't know about the shoulders off the mat thing. I just don't know about that one. Maybe. But then they talked about, absolutely enforcing a 5-foot apron protection area. And if they don't have it, they're not going to have the meet go on. The referee's going to measure it. And of course, our game management here, our match management here is dead on all the time. It's always a high-class event here. So it's going to force other places to do that with the apron, and that's good. It's protective, and that's how you're going to keep the wrestling going, because of 5-foot at least apron. And then when they go out of bounds, they don't touch the wood, and then they blow the whistle. But at the All-Star meet, I don't think there was a 5-foot apron, and they had the All-Star meet. So, are you going to enforce what you say you're going to enforce? And that's going to be the key. And so we'll know at the end of November, which is in the month we're in, and we'll know how they call it. And then it'll probably get clearer defined, and so on and so forth. I like the rule changes now.
Anything else?
Got a lot of guys downstairs waiting for you. Thanks.